Hey all, my name is Akanksha and welcome to my channel English Explained. This is a channel where we discuss different aspects of English. Today, you're watching a poem review. We are talking about Robert Frost's Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please do subscribe by clicking the red button below. Okay, now let's talk about the poem. It was written in 1922 and published in 1923 in his New Hampshire volume, and it follows Iambic tetrameter. To know more about Iambic tetrameter, click on the link given in the description box. If you want me to make a video on this as well as other writing styles, please do let me know in the comment section. Since it is the first time when I am reviewing a poem on my channel, I want to tell you all that in my opinion, a poem is not bound to follow grammatical rules or even punctuation marks. And it gives you the liberty to interpret it in your own way. So this time I am going to provide you a highly personal interpretation of a poem. I also want to tell you all that it is one of my most favorite poems as it inspires me a lot to keep moving in life. Now let's start with the summary of the poem. Since it is a short poem, I'll also be reading the lines in parallel for better understanding. Okay, so the first stanza is: Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. The first stanza reflects the thought of the poet who, while riding his horse, comes across a dark, frosty forest. He is both tired and attracted by the beauty of the forest at the same time. Therefore, he wants to spend some time there and rest for a while, as he holds the view that even if he stops there, no one, including the owner of this forest, will be able to know about his presence, as these woods are covered with snow. Now let's read the second stanza. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. While he was thinking about all this, he soon was perturbed by his horse, who found it quite strange to stop in such a place where there is not even a farmhouse. And the cold weather as well as darkness around them made the place even more uncomfortable to stop. It even seemed like the darkest evening of the year. Now let's read out the third stanza. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. So in the third stanza we find that the horse shakes its bells tied on its neck to ask if they should proceed instead of stopping at this gloomy place. Apart from his bells, the poet could only hear the soothing sound of blowing wind, which was carrying dust, feather, leaves, etc. with itself. And the final stanza is: The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. In the last stanza, finally, the poet confesses that though he really loves this dark and dense forest and does want to stay there for a while, taking a break from the tension and worries of the materialistic world, he can't do that, as he has to fulfill his duties towards his near and dear ones. He must achieve something remarkable in his life, and in order to fulfill his dreams as well as his duties, he needs to keep moving ahead without any delay. Now coming to my interpretation of the poem, I believe that the poet is exhausted from his worldly affairs and wants to embrace death, but he is reminded by his conscience that he cannot do so, as he has to fulfill his duties and obligations before even thinking about leaving this world. Though there is too much struggle in his life, but he cannot give up. Hence the poem ends with the lines: The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. The words sleep and woods are used as metaphors to represent death. In a way, the poet wants to motivate his readers that even though life is tough, you need to keep living and persevering to pay back to the world what is due to you. Robert Frost was also our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's favorite poet. He used to keep his collection of poems close to him, and the last two lines of this poem were underlined in that book. So that was my first review of a poem. I'm also providing you a link in the description box that gives you access to the transcription of whatever I discussed in this video. I would be more than happy to answer any questions regarding this video or any other questions that you might have in my next video. So please keep your suggestions, questions, queries, feedback coming through your comments. Let me know in the comment section how much you like this poem. This week we will also be discussing another famous poem by the same poet. So please make sure you click that subscribe button. Thank you so much for stopping by. Keep reading.